There's a lot of saliva passing down my throat right now. I act like I didn't record this episode 3 days ago and the camera stopped working halfway through. Yeah, we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. We're gonna pretend like I didn't reach flow state as soon as the camera cut off and I didn't realize until 45 minutes later. Yeah. We're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. Because if we do, I might just kill myself. It was such a good episode. It was so juicy. But halas, I guess God didn't want me to put it out there, and that's okay. And honestly, I'm just not feeling it anymore. I think it's because my period is about to start, which, guys, I can't lie. Can't lie, I really do need it right now. I need a break. I do, I need a break, guys. I'm tired. I'm just not feeling anything right now. You know, when you're in those moods where you don't care about anything? Like, honestly, guys, I don't care about uni. Uni is so boring. Everything at uni is so boring. Everything at school is so boring. Everything at home is so boring. I don't care about group projects and group work and group this and group that. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to get either. I don't want to get either. So over it. It's just so boring, and the weather is so nice. These past couple of days, it stopped raining. The weather is gorgeous. It's giving spring. It's giving, it makes me want to feel a little bit alive. Book a trip to Italy, Sicily, and just chill on a beach or like chill on a balcony and like eat some ice cream and go for late night summer walks. You know what I mean? Except I told my mum let's go to Italy and she was like, no, the world's ending and you wanna go to Italy. That's exactly why I want to go to Italy actually, because the world's ending. That's why I want to go. Because the world's ending. Which by the way guys, the world's the world's ending. I'm joking. Is it ending though? It's always been ending. Since it started, it's been ending, right? Just like our lives. But God, can they not wait till I graduate? Can they not wait till I don't know, travel the world, get rich, have my own house or apartment or something? You know what I mean? Can you guys like slow down? Like go drink some black sheep coffee matcha. You order a strawberry matcha and you order a blueberry one because you look like you would order a blueberry matcha and go just talk it out. Why do you have to put everybody else involved? But guys, it was so strange, yeah, because this whole like Iran USA situation, unfortunately, I still don't understand it. I don't. I'm trying to understand it, but um I feel stupid that I can't understand it because it got me so confused. Because there was somebody I'm not gonna say who, but somebody posted on their story like that I follow that was like, oh thank you Trump. It was like a protest thingy and like it was like a little cardboard and it said thanks Trump, and I was like, never in my 22 years being alive would I have thought I'd ever see that. So I clicked on it. I was like, maybe I'm mistaken. I clicked on it. It was like, thanks Trump and Israel for freeing Iran, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, I don't care. You could feed me coal, hot coal in my mouth and make me shit it out before I would thank that country and that man and the country that he's from. Never, never. And then that got me down a loophole of trying to understand where that person was coming from and trying to understand what was going on. But it's still a bit iffy because some people are like, oh yeah, free Iran and Iran's freed. And then other people are like, no, you're being silly, you're dilly dallying. Because why would America ever and Israel ever want Iran to be free? They've hated that country since it existed. So I'm a bit confused. But also that like took me back and I was like, I don't made me clutch my pearls. I was like, why would you post that? Like that was a bit weird. And then and then I was coming off the bus the yesterday. I was coming off the bus. I'm not gonna say who again because last time I give specifics, people start attacking me because apparently I can't say what I want to say, but everybody else can say what they want to say. So I got off the bus and this person like who is a person of a person who looked at me dead in the eye. And bearing in mind, I didn't clock who it was until maybe 15 minutes after. I didn't have my glasses. I don't wear my glasses. I'm only wearing my glasses now because it helps distract from the fact that I look really bloated, so my nose looks really big. But there was this person, and they just like, I kid you not, they looked at me like, we passed by like this. Like, this is them, and this is me, and I didn't make eye contact or anything because I don't care. And like, why do I always have to say hello first, or do I even have to say hello? Like, what? Like, what? I don't know you like that, sorry. And then, they just like were eating, and they stop and they eat it, and they go, and I'm like, I was like, why is that person looking at me? Wait, did they see something behind me? Then I get into the shop. By the way, I went into the Korean shop near me, and I bought these like beef halal beef noodle mix. I'm so excited to try that. I'm so excited to try that beef noodle soup mix. I think I'm gonna make it today, or I'm waiting until my period starts so then I can try it. But there is peanut oil in it, so I'm gonna have to remember to take that out, otherwise I'm gonna die. But I'm gonna try it because I'm excited. I was like, that was so yeah, but I went to town simply because I wanted to get some bits and bobs. Some tweezers. I lost all the tweezers in this house. I didn't lose it. Everybody else lost it. Of course, obviously. And what else did I need to get? I just walked around, needed to get tweezers. Oh, and guys, my phone contract is ending, right? And my mom was like, "Oh, your phone contract is ending." She told me last night, like 2 nights ago. And I was like, "What do you mean it's ending? Like, I can upgrade my phone or switch it, or my monthly bill is gonna be cheaper, right? Because I've paid off this phone." And in my head, I was instantly like, "Oh my god, Samsung Galaxy Flip Phone 7, Samsung Galaxy Flip Phone 7 FE. I really want to get that. I really want to invest in a flip phone because I just love a flip phone." So I was like, oh my god, okay. I was looking at contracts, I was looking at things, I found some cheap contracts and stuff, and then I was like, okay, let me go tomorrow to John Lewis because John Lewis has a tech section, and that's where like you can look at all the things and all the like different types. They have Samsung, Apple, Google, and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let me go. Bearing in mind, 2 summers ago, I think, last time my contract ended, which whatever phone I had before, I think I had the one that my little sister has now because she has the hand me down. She no, I yeah, she no. Yeah, so I go no, 2 summers ago, yeah, I bought the Samsung 7 Flip 6, I think. I bought the Flip 6 because I've always wanted a flip phone. I think the aspect of it and the concept of it is so cool. However, I bought it. Oh, and I've always wanted it because I've watched Penthouse, right? Penthouse like filled in my addiction for having the chuk chuk flip phone. And then when she eats the same, she's so dramatic, for real, for real. She's so dramatic. But what was I saying? Yeah, I bought it 2 summers ago and it was just not good. That I was so upset at the camera quality. The camera quality was horrendous. Horrendous. Let me tell you that. And the battery like would overheat so much, which I get it because it's double screen, but because it was so hot 2 summers ago. What was the video that I was trying to film? Oh my gosh, this video I've been thinking about for 2 years now. Can you believe it? Now that I think about it, I've been thinking about it for 2 years. I've written it down and I still haven't conceptualized it. It's like me going on a solo picnic date, because every time I try to do it, it just never works out great. And this time I tried to film it on my new phone that I got, the flip phone. I took it outside. I went to my local Lidl, bought the stuff that I needed. I was filming the bits and bobs, and then I go and sit in the park, and boom, 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 it starts heating up. It heats up so much to the point where it's like, oh, you can't even. It's like I get a little notification like, ping, you can't record because you need to wait for your phone to stop overheating. You need to wait for your phone to cool down. I was like, iPhone would never do that. An iPhone could burn in your hand and would still pull up the apps that it needs to pull up. And I don't want to defend Apple against Samsung because they're two completely different, but they are one and the same. But I'm just waiting for Apple to release a flip phone. I'm just waiting for Apple to release a flip phone, and I do not know why they have not invested in that yet. I do not know why they haven't invested in that. Like they have been doing the same thing since iPhone 15. No, since iPhone 13, 12, 13. 12 was everybody was like, oh, the camera's this way, and it was called like the X or whatever. Then after that, they've all been the same. They've all been the same. They've all been the same. Like, introduce a split screen like Samsung has. Introduce a flip phone. I would invest in that so quick, you don't understand. Because I want a flip phone so bad. Anyway, so I go to town for that reason, right? And I go into John Lewis. I'm looking at the flip phones and I looked at it and I was so disappointed. I don't know if I feel like it anymore because the camera quality, they just for some weird reason keep improving the S23 or the S series, but they won't touch the flip phone series. And it's frustrating because the flip phone could be so popular and it could be the next it thing if you had just fixed the camera and fixed its battery life. If you had done those two things, it literally would have been amazing. But they refused. They refused to fix the camera. They refused to do anything. It's so frustrating. It's so annoying. And I feel like my sister's waking up, which is great. Which is great because every time I try to record, somebody wakes up. Every time I try to record, somebody wakes up. Somebody wakes up. Somebody goes to the toilet. Somebody turns on the washing machine. Somebody comes in my face looking for the cat. Which, speaking of, I can't find the cat. I woke up and I thought she would be down here, but I can't find her. I hope she didn't fall out the window or anything, but she's probably hiding somewhere. Oh, guys, I ended up going to. Oh, I basically just ate the thing. I ended up going to a salon to get my eyebrows done. I've never got my eyebrows done. The last time I got my eyebrows done was years ago because I was like, that was when I first started getting my eyebrows done, and I got addicted to it, and I started like threading my whole face as well. Not me personally, but I would get somebody else to thread my face. Back when my pain tolerance was so immensely high that I wouldn't feel anything. So I decided, I literally was about to go home and take the bus, and then I turned around and literally did a U-turn. I was like, you know what? Let me get my eyebrows done. Let me get my eyebrows done and see like how it's gonna look, because people always say, the girls were right. The girls are always like, get your eyebrows done, get your eyebrows done. It will make you look cleaner. It will make your face look put together. Even if you're barefaced, even if you're this, like it makes you look put together. Boom! Look at my face. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Look, she did it so well. She did it so quickly and so well. I was done in like 4 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. In 4 minutes, I was done. She was like, chung, chung, chung. And then she threaded it, cleaned it up, and boom. Next time, though, I'm going to do my eyebrows and I'm going to do my mustache area too. Because I was too scared to do my mustache area because I was like, it's going to hurt so bad. Um, and I was just too scared. I wimped out. Also, I was broke. I was broke, so I didn't do it. I need to do my mustache at home, but I thought the hairs would be too small, so that it wouldn't really work properly. But yeah, look how amazing my eyebrows look. I'm not really a big fan of my eyebrow shape because I'm really insecure about the way that my eyebrows look. Because I don't like how they have like a kind of like a pointed arch. Because everybody's eyebrows these days are straight, but I guess you just have to follow the shape of your eyebrows and it is what it is. But yeah, oh my gosh, I thought my eyebrows looked amazing every time I did them, but I looked a mess. I looked a mess. I looked a mess. Now I know, like, I look like a completely different person in my head because of my eyebrows. Next time I'm gonna get my mustache done too. Because why not? And I also dyed my hair again because my roots were showing. But guess what? I feel like I've got ghost roots because look how bright red it is on the inside. My roots always come out lighter than the actual hair, and in this lighting, for instance, it looks amazing, wonderful, gorgeous. In some lightings, like the John Lewis lighting, I was so concerned because it looked bright red. I looked like anger from inside out. Like it looked so bright red. I was so concerned. I was like, I'm gonna take another shower again tonight, and hopefully, like the dramaticness of it will fade away because that's really frustrating. Because I don't want to go walk into a lecture hall and my head is just bright red. Everybody's gonna look at me like, what the hell is wrong with this girl? Speaking of lectures, I had a lecture today and I didn't go. I didn't end up going because I was like, oh, I was like, when I get to uni, I'll just film, find a random place and sit down and film and pretend that I'm talking to somebody or something. And I just, when I woke up, I was like, I can't be bothered because it was like one thing and it was like two things. I'm not traveling all the way there. Also, we're bowling on a budget because my SFE is running out. Yes, yes. Yes, my SFE is running out, and I should get a job, but I will pray this Ramadan that I get a good part-time job or just become rich, because I'm telling you guys, as soon as I make it and as soon as I become rich, you won't catch me at uni, because I don't like university. It doesn't matter where you put me, I don't like it. I don't like learning. I don't like education. I just don't like it. It's so boring. It's so boring. And I know it's a blessing, and I know that it's on this and that, yeah. But just going on so long. This is boring, guys. And I have this group presentation that keeps giving me anxiety about. I have 3 group presentations. Oh no, I think I have 2. No, I have 3. Marketing, consultancy, and people practices. People practices is the one that I literally need to stand up in front of people with my group and talk. I'm not excited about that. The consultancy one is like a report. However, I've been having situations with joining a group because my timetable changed, because I asked them to change my timetable so I don't commute on random days where I just have one lesson. So they switched all around. I joined a different class. I emailed the professor of that class and I was like, hey, can you put me in a different group? Or like, can I join this girl's group because I became friends with this girl? She says she only has 3 people in there. I can just join them. And then and then the marketing one. Oh, and I haven't heard back from him either, and it's been a couple of days now, so I don't know what he's doing. I emailed him. I might just have to go tomorrow and ask him what's going on, but I'll just join the friends group because I don't know what's happening. And then the other one is a marketing one, which we just have to record a video of ourselves doing. But like, also, nobody has been putting in effort, including me, in any of the group projects because they're not due yet. They're due like at the end of March, and March has just started. So I feel like by the time it hits like the 15th, people are gonna start panicking and start being like, "Oh my god, we should meet up and da, 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 we should assign us and da, 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 and do this and this and this." I don't know, I'm a bit stressed out about that. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go to uni and I'm gonna film over there at uni because like I have like 5 hour gaps in between. So I might just find a pod in the library. I should definitely investigate the library. I still haven't. I went one time. I went one time because my group wanted to meet up last semester, and I never went back in. I never went back in. I just have no need to go back in, you know? But I should find a place in the library and just sit there and chill. But yeah, I was like, I'll film that. And what I was filming last episode, for this episode, what I was talking about was so interesting and it was so good. And it was basically just me, not complaining, but me talking about how it was a very niche topic. I will say that it was a very niche topic, and I don't know if I can talk about it again because the points that I made last time were so good. Basically, I was just talking about how, you know what, how many minutes has it been? It's been 20 minutes. Might as well talk about it. But it was basically the concept of always going back to the basics. Because, for example, growing up, OMG, I'm gonna sneeze. Growing up, I was somebody that was always mediocre in everything that I did. I was mid at exams, I was mid at sports, I was just average, right? And I was always average. I was never one step below, but I was never one step too high. I wasn't an overachiever, but I wasn't an underachiever. I tried not to be an underachiever as much. So growing up, I remember the first time we ever did mock exams, and it was so serious. And I studied really hard, and I tried really hard, and I prayed really hard. I did all those 3 things, and I tried to lock in. And I was like, oh my god, it can't possibly be that hard to get, maybe a B or an A or a CBA. You know what I mean? ABC, 1, 2, 3. It can't really be that hard. So I remember trying really hard and locking in, and everybody else around me studying and talking about we should go on study days and do this and do that, do this and do that. And I remember getting my results and being just so disheartened by the fact that I put all that effort in and all I managed to get was like 2 marks above the grade boundary, 3 marks above the grade boundary, or literally getting the mark on the grade boundary. So, for example, if the pass was like 45, I would have gotten a 46, or I would have gotten a 45, or I would have gotten a 47. Never anything too high and never anything too below. It was just in the middle and it was perfect. And the problem with being just in the middle and it's perfect is that you go unnoticed and unseen quite a lot. So teachers never really put emphasis on me. They never really like encouraged me or anything like that. Well, actually, there was this one science teacher. I can't remember his name, but there was this one science teacher that we had, and for some weird reason, he really deep down believed that I could be in set one science. I don't know why he believed that. Because listen, I was stupid. I was stupid. There's nothing in there that knows anything about gravity, that knows anything about the apple falling down from the tree, that knows anything about physics, that knows anything about biological systems. Nothing. Okay, nothing stays in here. And he was so confident and hell bent on the fact that I was really smart, but I was just hiding it, or I just wasn't confident enough, which maybe that was true, but I guess we'll never know. But I did end up being in set 2 for science, which really confused me. Or set 1 or set 2. They like mixed it up, but it really confused me because I was dumb. I was really dumb, and it got to the point where we did practice exams in year 11, and I was like, hey, like I walked up to my teacher, I was like, hey, like, can you actually move me down a set? Because I don't want to do set 1 exams for my GCSEs and fail when I can do foundation paper and pass easily for science, right? And she was like, oh, okay, okay. Never did. Never did. Never came around to doing it. Never actually switched me. So I just stayed in set 1 for absolutely no reason. For absolutely no reason. Just for the fact, for vibes, I guess, for vibes. Because it made no sense to me. Why was I in set 2 or set 1 for science? I was stupid. I was failing every exam. But anyways, I remember the first mocks we did, putting in effort, the first time I put effort into anything, and just looking at my results and being like, oh my god, it's just mediocre, it's just average. You just about got there. And then every exam afterwards, every exam that I would do after that, I was just average and I was just mediocre. And I was just about good enough to pass. Wasn't failing so bad, but wasn't overachieving so high. So I was just in the middle. And when you're in the middle, you never really know where you belong. Do you belong with the younger siblings? Do you belong with the older siblings? Because you interchange. Because I clocked that too. As a middle child, you do interchange your personality. Depending on who you surround yourself with, I think that's the perks of being a middle child, is that you're easily adaptable. So you could be friends with older children, you could be friends with only children, you could literally be friends with younger children, youngest child, youngest child's, youngest child's, youngest children's. You could be friends with younger children. No, you can't be friends with younger children. You could be friends with younger siblings. Youngest child siblings. People. Okay? So you can be friends with anybody and you can like kind of you're really good at adapting. So I guess I kind of just got by in school, and that really made me think about my deen as well, and how that impacted and influenced the way that I think about my religion, and the way that I influence and intertwine my religion and my deen with myself. Omar Suleiman talks about this concept in episode 3, where he talks about the name Al Hadi of God, and he talks about the concept of Rushd. Now, I can't really remember what he said because the episode was so long ago, but he was talking about something about the concept of Rushd. Rushd is basically those people that are doing so well in terms of their deen and their religion that they don't even need a compass, they don't even need a navigation system, they don't even need a GPS. They're like one step above. They've got the basics down, they've got everything down, they're one step above. So if anything happens, they know where to go, they know what to do, they know who they are and where to go. That concept of rushd, of like already knowing in your heart what is true, that you don't even need like a navigation system, you don't need help because you know where to go. And I sat there thinking, would I ever be able to reach that level of rushd? Would I ever be somebody who is so intertwined with their religion and so intertwined with aspects of God and his names and his attributes, or the teachings of the prophets or the Quran just in itself? Would I ever reach that level where I it would get to a point where I don't even need direction, I don't even need help, because I just know. And I have it in my heart and I have it in my head and I just know. And then it got me thinking, I'm just always somebody who goes back to the basics. I'm always somebody who, every single time I fall down, I always end up having to go back to the basics. The basics meaning learning how to pray again, keeping fast again, opening the Quran again, not learning the Quran, not learning a specific surah, just opening it again, 1 or 2 pages a day, or reading Surah Mulk after Isha, because at least that means you open the Quran, doing zikr again. There was a point in my life where I fell down so bad and astray. So you guys know this, like 23, 24, 25. You guys know this, right? And I just remember falling completely and then getting back up and having to learn the basics. Okay, you need to get up back up, do wuzu, and pray. And baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Do it slowly, 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 slowly. That's what I remember. Every single time I fall down or I find myself in a place where I have a lack of faith, I end up always going back to the basics and never being able to take that one step further. I've never been somebody who even thought of the concept of being able to memorize the Quran, because that's just not something that I've ever thought I'd be able to do. I've never been like for example, me falling down was I stopped waking up for Fajr. I completely like struggled waking up for Fajr, and then I completely stopped. And then it got to a point where the alarm would go off and I would set the alarm and I would shut it and I would be like, oh, who cares anyways? Or what's the point anyways? And then by that time I had missed so many Fajrs, right? And so me getting back up and going back towards my teen again and calling for Al Hadi was learning the basics again. Waking up for Fajr, setting alarms for Fajr, doing what I used to do, and implementing what I used to implement when I had good mid faith. And so I've always been somebody who goes back to the basics. And I feel this for maybe a lot of reverts too, who probably feel like they're so behind because, oh my god, that person over there has memorized the whole Quran by the time that they were 15. That person over there is Alama. That person over there is a Sheikh. That person over there is a Mufti. That person over there has done so much. That person over there just built a masjid. And it's like, oh my god, but I'm still learning the Alif Ba Ta Sa. I've been trying to learn the Alif Ba Ta Sa for the past 6 years. Or like I've been learning to read Surah Yasin for the past 6 years and haven't been able to do it because it's quite difficult for me. Or I'm always going back to the basics. I still can't keep up with the prayers and I still don't know how to pray properly, or I still struggle to wake up for certain prayers. Like Isha is really long for me, but Fajr is like too early for me. So I really struggle with that. And then I have work in the middle, so I don't know how people do it. You know, that's kind of what I was talking about last episode, and just the concept of like sometimes there's like guilt that consumes you of, well, I don't know about other people, but sometimes there's guilt that consumes me. What if I'm never good enough for God because I'm always going back to the same things every time I fall down? Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it's mental health crisis, doesn't matter if it's a test that befalls me or whatever. Every time I fall down, I just end up going back to the basics. I never take that one step further of like learning how to read Tahajjud or learning how to do this. Well, actually, I do read Tahajjud, but you know what I mean? Like the extra stuff that we don't even know that we should do that we should probably do. you know, you could wake up for Fajr, but also you could wake up for Fajr and read Surah Yasin. But also you could wake up for Tahajjud before you wake up for Fajr and then read Surah Yasin after. You know what I mean? Those are like the type of stuff that is not really basic, but kind of is. Or like for example, covering my head. Like I completely took off the hijab because I was just going through it. And now I can't picture myself ever putting it back on. I do have thoughts about it, but I just struggle with the idea so much because I don't know how to do it. I don't want to put it back on and then be somebody that puts it back on and then takes it back off because I take it off. You know what I mean? I don't want to be somebody who puts it back on and takes it off, puts it back on and takes it off, puts it back on and takes it off. I just want to be somebody who either wears it or doesn't wear it. And I just want to reach the point in my life where it just bam, I wear it because I want to wear it. Not because I'm getting married and I'm a married woman now. No, not because of this, not because of that. No, because I want to wear it. Me, not anybody else. You know. But yeah, then I kind of talked about how the guilt kind of consumes you. Oh, will I ever be somebody that's able to take the next steps? Or will I be somebody in my deen, in my religion, that will always be a baby and will always be acting like I'm a little tiny teenager, or I'm a 12-year-old who's still learning Islam, who's Islam is still fresh to me and Islam is still this to me. Don't get me wrong, there is the concept of like everybody has to learn Islam even if you're born into it. I don't know if I've reached that stage. I thought I had, but maybe I haven't. Maybe I still have more to like go. But yeah, just the guilt that consumes you of like, I don't know if God is ever gonna care about me or know me or appreciate me or see me. If I'm somebody that all I ever do is just try and learn the basics over and over and over and over again, like the fundamental of Islam's over and over and over again, in a time where everybody is so apparently good at everything, you know? Because remember, growing up, there was always the kids that managed to learn the whole Quran off by heart by the time that they were 15, and your parents would be like, oh my god, you should have been able to do it, like why can't you do it, like you should have done that, that could have been you. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, if you really wanted me to do that, you should put me in a class and I would have done it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can't blame me, you can't blame me for your actions. But yeah, just feeling the concept of like, oh, because I'm never gonna be somebody right now in this point of my life. I have never been somebody who's been able to take the next step, and I'm always going back. Every time I lose my deen, or every time I lose a little bit of my faith, or every time I sin, or every time I do this, I always go back to the same things that I've been working on the same things in my religion for so long, my whole life, that I've never been able to approve or go to the next step. But then I'm like, oh, God's not gonna like me, God's not gonna hear me or appreciate me or want to talk to me if I'm somebody who doesn't put the effort in, if I'm not special. There was this episode from the Digital Sisterhood where Qadar talks about how she asked a question to, there's people who, there was that guy who, I'm not here, guys. I woke up like 5 minutes ago. There's that guy who, what he does, his job is like the graveyard job where he like, for the Muslims, like he puts the cloth on them and like he buries them. That's the word, buries. Like he like does he does the whole system. And she asked him like, what do you want God to call you by when the time comes and you're standing there? What do you want God to call you by, that that will be you, and you'll come to him? Like, what's the special name that you want God to call you by? And he was like, oh, I want God to recognize me as the work that I did, like the graveyard person. Sorry, I don't know the name. The graveyard person, right? I want God to recognize me as that because that's the work that I did for him. I did it for the sake of him, and I did it for him. And so when the time comes when I die, I want him to recognize me and call me by that name, not the name that my parents gave me, that name. Oh, the one who did this, you know? And it got me thinking, like, what would I want God to call me? And yes, maybe I'm only 22, but if somebody was to ask me that question, and like, if I was to die tomorrow, God forbid, but if I was to die tomorrow, what would I want God to call me by? I don't even think I would want him to call me by my name at that point, because I don't think I'm worthy enough to be called. I don't even think I'm worthy enough to be called by God. And I don't even think I'm worthy enough to be even called by my name, because I don't know, maybe like my name is like really basic, and like tens of thousands of people have my name, just like tens of thousands of people have the name Khalid, or have the name Amina, or have the name flipping Lucy. You know what I mean? Lucy Lou. I don't want him to call me by my name. But then it got me thinking, maybe I just want God to call me or refer to me as the one who tried. You guys know that I preach this all the time. 1%, my 1%ers. You guys know from my old videos, 1%, 1%ers. If all you can put in is 1% and all you can give is 1%, then give it. That's 100%. That's 100%. If all you have is 1% and all you give is 1%, you gave 100% of what you had, right? I've always been somebody who's just clinging on to that 1% of faith for a very long time now. I find myself that like this really tiny thread, and my pinky is wrapped around it and I'm being yanked to the ground while that pinky is going upwards, and that is like how I've been connected to my deen. Like I've been trying so hard to just like grab onto it and grasp it and try, and like 1% is all that I have, and I just have 1% of faith, and like I'm trying to cling onto it so I don't lose it all, because I don't want to lose it all, because I'd be scared to lose it all, because I never want to be somebody who fully walks away from my faith, because I think I have the courage to do that, or like have that much disbelief to be able to do that. But like I've been holding on to 1% of my faith for so long, that all I've ever done is try. And when it comes to my deen, I've clocked that all I've ever done in recent years is just try to get up, try to do wuzu, try to believe, try to have faith, try to have hope, try to, talk to God, try to pray, try to wake up for Fajr, like try. Every single time I have fallen back down, or every single time I have felt like my faith was slipping away from me, I have gotten back up and I've tried. So maybe I want God to refer to me as the one who tried, as the one who didn't give up, as the one who clung on even when everything inside of her didn't want to cling onto it. Maybe that's what I would want God to call me, because at the end of the day, maybe God doesn't care about the basics that we do, in the sense that maybe He doesn't care about like the specifics, or maybe he doesn't care about how you didn't memorize the whole Quran when you lived, and maybe he won't care about how you didn't do this and you didn't pray the Hajj all the time, or you didn't read all these extra sunnah prayers, or all these extra things that you could have possibly done, or all these things that these muftis and these almas and everybody does, and you didn't have the knowledge of flipping Einstein when it comes to your deen. Like, you didn't have that. You know, maybe all you knew was the basics, and that's all you did. Like, that's all you had to get you by from birth to death, and maybe that's good enough for him. Because when you realize it, because then I had to clock to myself that actually the basics aren't really that bad. The basics are not just everyday normal real life like dunya type basics, right? It's not eating, cleaning yourself, brushing your teeth, like having a shower, brushing your hair. Those are normal everyday things that don't really have any depth or meaning to them in a cosmic kind of way. But waking up for Fajr and then reading Zohar and then reading Asr and Maghrib, that is so insane in a cosmic kind of way. Because there are people out there who don't do that, and there are people out there who have never done that and never will. The basics in Islam are not the same basics in everyday kind of life, you know? Also, my throat is getting really dry and I'm getting tired about speaking, but that's what I'm trying to say is that I had to tell myself that, like, okay, but like the basics aren't the normal basics that we have in everyday life. The basics of praying 5 times a day and fasting have so much insane reward in it. Like, if you just say Subhanallah wa bihamdihi Subhanallah Azim, boom, a tree has been planted for you in heaven. If you say Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk, boom, your sins have been forgiven. Reading Salatul Tawbah, your sins have been forgiven. Doing 10k istighfar, sins have been forgiven. And istighfar is literally one word, astaghfirullah. Like, that's it. That's all it is. Like, these basic things that we've been taught become so routine to us, and so, like, as time goes on, as time goes on, they kind of become insignificant to us because it loses its meaning because you do it so many times that you can't really switch it up, because it is like not something that you can switch up, right? You can't really switch up your prayers. You can't really, I mean, I guess you could read different surahs, but like you can't really like switch it up. Like, you can switch up your clothes, you can switch up your hair, you can switch up your face, like add more piercings, but you can't really change Islam, because Islam is not something that we change with. It is the way that it is because it's perfect, right? But we are not perfect. So maybe you have been somebody who was never been able to pray, but every day somehow you were able to read Fajr, and God is like, maybe God, because I want to believe that God can understand us and God can see us along with all the hundreds of names that He has that we don't even know about. I want to believe that God can understand me and see me for who I am and why I am the way that I am. You know, you could be somebody who has struggled to pray your whole life, but every day you woke up for the next 6 months and you managed to read Fajr consistently every single day. And you read Fajr every single day. Fajr, the number one prayer that most people struggle with, I believe, is like Fajr and Isha. Isha because it's at night time and it's quite long, and during the summer it gets long. And then Fajr because it's so early in the morning, you have to wake up from your sleep, read Fajr, and then go back to sleep, right? But you somehow have managed to read Fajr every single day for the past 6 months, and then you end up dying. And then God is like, well, okay, you may not have done this and this and this, but listen, you prayed Fajr. Maybe you can get into heaven. Maybe God's like, oh, you can get into heaven. You prayed Fajr. You prayed Fajr for 6 months. Okay, you managed to pray Fajr. Look, Fajr has such insane, intense meaning. You need to put the meaning up here. Put the meaning for Zohar up here. Put the meaning for Asr and then Maghrib and then Isha. Boom, boom, boom. Like, these prayers may seem boring, and they may seem like the basic fundamentals of Islam, but they have such deep meaning to them. And I felt like I was losing the meaning, and I felt like I was losing the depth and the understanding of why we have to do this every day, and does it even mean anything if I do this every day but I haven't done that? Like, if I pray every day but I didn't do zikr as much, or I didn't like do that as much, or I didn't read the Hajj as much, or I didn't memorize the whole Quran, or I didn't do this, I didn't put hijab on or something like that. But the reason why these basic things are the basic things in Islam is because these things alone can actually get you into heaven. They can. God hasn't purposely made Islam so difficult. It can feel overwhelming to people like us sometimes, when you really deep down think about it and you think that you've done everything wrong and you continue to do everything wrong. But if you stick to what you know and you keep improving what you know and you keep doing what you know, and then eventually maybe down the line you might interpret and add in something else, you might add in something here, do something here, then that should be perfectly fine too, because the basics in Islam are not the everyday basics. Subhanallah wal bihamdihi, subhanallah azim, gets your tree planted in heaven. In heaven. Astaghfirullah gets your sins forgiven. Fasting in Ramadan gets your sins forgiven. You know what Ramadan actually means? And I just learned this. Ramadan does not mean fasting. Ramadan means burning away. Something like that. Or scorching hot or scorching burning away. Something like that. It means that it's because it's a concept of fasting which burns our sins away. Fasting burns your sins away. So every day you wake up and you fast and you go to work or you go to uni and you go to school and you commute so far away and you're so tired, so you won't manage to read as much Quran as you wanted, you weren't able to finish the chapter that you wanted to finish, or you weren't able to do this, or you weren't able to do as much istighfar or zikr because you were just so busy or whatever and work was consuming you, because so many people have so many different types of jobs, right? Imagine the construction workers, imagine the cleaners, imagine the nurses or the surgeons, everything, right? If that's all that you've been able to do and you come home honestly exhausted, tired, exasperated, you come home and the only thing that you'd managed to do was fast. You didn't do anything extra or special, like maybe learn the deen or do this or, learn extra surah today because you were tired or whatever. Fasting in itself burned your sins away. Fasting in itself was such an immense reward. It's such a huge thing. Yes, it's a fundamental thing. Yes, it's a basic thing, but it has such a good meaning to it. So maybe if for now at this point in my life, if all I'm ever gonna be is somebody who always goes back to the basics, maybe that's good enough. Maybe that's more than enough. Because you could feed a homeless person and get into heaven. You could help somebody across the street and they'll pray for you forever and remember your face and remember you and they'll get you into heaven. You could befriend people who love you and respect you and are so loyal to you that when you die, they pray so much for you and they pray over you so much that you get into heaven. I felt sometimes it feels like being religious enough and being good enough and being religious enough and getting to the top is like a competition. It's like a competition, but I don't want my deen to feel like a competition. I also don't want it to feel so because my unfortunately, as much as I would love it, my mind and my brain cannot comprehend it. Mostly because I have ADHD, mostly because I have depression, mostly because I have a lot of things wrong with me that I should probably go and get diagnosed, but it takes too long, so I can't be bothered. But a lot of us have so many problems that makes it difficult for us to take the step forward. And it often makes me wonder, like, so many people have so many gifts in Islam. Like there's that saying that like God has given each and every person an individual gift. For example, Qatar from the Digital Sisterhood and the people that work at the Digital Sisterhood, their gift is that to be able to create that, to be able to bring people's stories to life, to connect Muslims around the world, to hear other people's stories, to influence them to maybe do better or to do this or to do that, or like just hearing it and feeling connected, right? And feeling closer to God and their relationship with God and how their journey has been. There's people out there who are muftis, there's people out there who, build mosques and masjids, there's people out there who teach the Quran, there's people out there who teach the Sunnah, there's people out there who teach the Arabic language. I don't think I found my gift. What do you do if you don't have a gift? Or what do you do if you don't have a gift? Or like you just can't find your gift? Or like what is my gift? Like, you know what I mean? Not to sound weird, but everybody has a gift. Everybody has a talent. Maybe you're meant to be a surgeon. Maybe you're meant to be a doctor. Maybe you're meant to be a lawyer. Maybe you were meant to do this. You were meant to do that. Something's been written for you. What exactly is my gift? And it makes me think a lot, and it makes me wonder a lot. Like, what actually is my gift? And what was I actually supposed to do with my life? What is it that is my gift that God can make me a vessel through the world, like through Him to the world, to the people, you know? You know, anyways, I think that's all that I can remember that I said from the last episode. I'm so sorry that I couldn't say more into it. Let me try and think what else I said, because I'm pretty sure I said some cool stuff. I said some really good stuff. Yeah, but it's just basically feeling really It's feeling guilty that I'll maybe never be good enough to take on to the next level, but I don't want to see Islam as something that is a competition, and you shouldn't see Islam as something that is so hard to reach and hard to get. These basic things of doing zikr, doing istighfar, waking up for Fajr, reading Surah Yasin after Fajr, reading Surah Baqarah after Zuhr, reading Surah Waqia after Maghrib, and then reading Surah Isha, reading Surah Mulk after Isha. These kind of things can get you into heaven. These kind of things are good enough, and they're probably more than good enough, because each and every tiny little thing that is in Islam is in it for a reason that we cannot even comprehend, and is so good for us on like on a different level, on a different planet type level type thing. You know what I mean? Like it's insane what these things can do for us. They're not just basic things that like, oh, you have to do it, but you also do this and this and this to make your duas get answered. Like maybe it got me thinking, like maybe, oh, God won't ever want to answer my duas. Maybe that's why he delays my duas, because he knows that I don't. He sees and knows that I never put in the effort that I should be able to put in, that people my age are being putting in, or I won't be able to do more than what I should be able to do because I should have done this and this, and I forgot how to do that, that, and that. But if you have the intention, which again, research and look up intent in Islam, it is so important. You can have the intent to read Quran all day, and you didn't get around to doing it because you were busy, maybe helping your mum in the kitchen, or you were busy because you had to go to work and you were tired when you came home, and you forgot to read Quran. You got the same swab for reading it. Intent is so important. Like these tiny, tiny things that I completely forgot about and made lost meaning in my head, and like the shaitan kind of got into my head and made convinced me that like these things are not good enough, and these things are not the things that are gonna get you into heaven, and these things are not at the level that it needs to be. And so God is not going to listen to you. He's not going to even know who you are. He's not going to accept your praise. He's not going to accept your duas. He's not going to give you what you want because you sin all the time and you never put the effort in with your religion. And even when you try, you fail. Because there was a point in my life where last Ramadan, I tried really hard to start memorizing the Quran slowly, slowly, slowly. One sentence at a time, one page at a time. One thing about me is something that I cannot control is that I don't know if it's like not OCD, but like I feel, or ADHD, I feel really rushed. My body rushes me, my mind doesn't shut up. So if I'm gonna do something, I either want to finish it and start it right here, right now, and, or I put it down and I never pick it up again. That's why I don't read books that often, because once I open a book, I have to finish it and do it there, right then and there. Because once I put that book down, babe, it's gone. I'm never gonna open it again. I'm never gonna know the ending. I don't even care about it anymore. I wouldn't even care about it anymore. So I started last Ramadan. I was like, okay, one page a day. And then I learned the beginning of Surah Baqarah, like maybe the first two pages of Surah Baqarah, maybe, or page and a half, like the double-sided page maybe. And so I learned it, and then eventually I just stopped because I got busy, or I skipped one day, and then I skipped 2 days, and then I tried to get back in and I couldn't get back in, and then I ended up only learning like a page and a half. Because once I put it down, I never pick it up, and that's my problem. I know it is, but it's like a it's like a mental disorder. It's like a mental disorder. But yeah, so sometimes doing things is really difficult, and I wonder, like, if people who have dyslexia and can't read the Quran because it's hard for them, or people who have severe autism or ADHD or OCD. There's people out there who have OCD, so doing wuzu for them is a struggle because maybe the numbers that they have in their head for that day are not three. So imagine they have to do wuzu and they end up doing it 4 times, every action 4 times or 5 times or 6 times because they have to do it. Like their brain won't let them do it. You know what I mean? Or like bipolar disorder, or PCOS, or all these type of things, different types of things that we can have. These different types of struggles. I wonder if people like who also struggle with these things have guilt and suffer from guilt and suffer from I'll never be good enough, and maybe they will like God will just never hear me or like accept me because what I've done is never good enough, and I gave as good as I got, but what if it's not enough, you know? But I don't want to think of God as such a brutal, kind of strict, brutal concept. I I want to believe that God is understanding, and God is appreciative and thankful for the things that we do, knowing how hard it is, because at the end of the day He created us. He created us, and so He knows that there's a chemical imbalance in my brain. where it means sometimes there's a week goes by and I just don't brush my teeth and I don't get out of bed and I don't change my clothes and I'm not able to move my legs, I'm not able to do anything. He knows that. He knows that because he created me and also because he can see me. He can see me, he knows what's in my heart, he knows how much I struggle. So when I look back at those times and I think about all the praise that I've missed and all the things I could have done and I should have done but I didn't do, and then the guilt kind of consumes you and eats you alive. And then you think, oh my god, I'm never going to be good enough because I'll never move on from the basics. But who says you need to move on from the basics? Who says that you need to move on and keep improving yourself in a way that you're kind of mechanic or you're kind of like a chemical machine? Like, you're not a machine, you're not AI, you don't need to be improved all the time. Like, do what you can do. If 5% is all you have and you give 5%, that's flipping 100%. If 1% is all you have, which is me, if 1% is all I have and I give my 1% this Ramadan, then that's 100%. For example, this Ramadan, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I know I said, actually, did I say last episode that I was feeling it? No, I said in my last vlog that I was like, oh, I was feeling it because I was crying. Yeah, actually, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling this Ramadan. And sometimes there will be Ramadans in your life where you're not as connected to it and you're not doing as great as you could do and you didn't do all the things that you could do. And then there will be other Ramadans where you're so amazing and you're so good because life is not linear. We are not machines. And it's not always going to be this or that. It's kind of either you're going to be in the middle, you're going to be in a great area, or you might improve this or you might improve that. For me, I had completely, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I completely lost my faith before Ramadan came this year. Completely. Didn't care about missing prayer, didn't care about prayers, didn't care about waking up for Fajr, didn't care about opening the Quran like I used to. Like I used to have a timetable where after Fajr, like I said, read Surah Yasin. After Maghrib, Surah Mulk. After, no, after Maghrib, Surah Waqiah. After Isha, Surah Mulk. You know what I mean? And then I learned about the concept of reading Surah Baqarah every morning. It will increase your risk, right? And you read Surah Mulk at night and Surah Waqiah in the evening. It will increase your risk. Do istighfar and stuff like that. There was a time period in my life, kind of, by the way, in 2024, I think, or 2025. One of the stuff that it gets blurry. It gets blurry. Don't ask me any questions. It gets blurry. I don't remember anything. It's all smushed into one. But there was a time period in my life where I would do no less than 10k istighfar every day. No less than 10k istighfar every day. And it wasn't Ramadan. It wasn't anything special. I just wanted to be heard by God so bad and wanted to be seen and appreciated and understood and acknowledged that I just did 10k istighfar every day. And then I kept doing it just for the fun of the game, guys. For the fun of the game. And then I would never do less than 10k. I would never do less than 5k. And then I never did less than 1k. And then I would skip a couple of days. And then eventually it became, I didn't do less than 100. And then it became eventually I just stopped doing it. Who am I to stop doing istighfar? On a daily basis? Who am I to stop doing istighfar? I can't remember who I told, but I told somebody one time, like, the Prophet ﷺ would literally do istighfar every day non-stop. The Prophet, the last Prophet, peace be upon him, would do istighfar. He would do istighfar. Loki, what does he have to do istighfar for? Who knows? For the fun of the game. But for us, we're normal, everyday, average human beings. We're not prophets and we're not special people and we're not all of this. So, like, we have to do istighfar because we sin probably so much that we don't even know about, right? Or we're struggling with so many things that we don't even know about. But istighfar isn't even just about, like, repenting for your sins. It also relieves you from stress. It also opens so many doors for you that you probably might even not know. Those 10,000 istighfar that I did last year or the year before might open doors for me this coming year that I wouldn't even know about. I'll probably forget. I'd be like, oh my god, what did I do to deserve this? Like, what did I do to deserve this? And it's like, oh, it's like the 20 bajillion istighfar you did last year, remember? Or it's like how every day you woke up the 100 consistently last year, remember? And your duas got answered. I don't even remember what I made dua for last year. I don't even know if it came true because I just don't remember. Maybe it did come true. Maybe it came true right now. Maybe it's gonna come true next year. Who knows? You know what I mean? What was I saying? Yeah. What was I saying? Why do I do this? I completely forgot what I said. But yeah, guys, I just maybe I will never reach a place of rushd. maybe I will never be perfect, but also maybe what I do and what I have to give is good enough to pass me by and to get me through. Just like in this life, where I have is good enough to pass me by and to get me through, like an NPC, but maybe in the afterlife, God will acknowledge all the times that I got up to pray that I didn't want to pray, all the times that I did tasbih, all the time that I read Surah Waqi after Maghrib, all the times that I woke up for Fajr, all the times that I woke up for Tahajjud, and I didn't really have a specific dua, I just read Tahajjud because I could. You know, oh, that's what I was saying. Yeah, this Ramadan, I completely lost my faith. So my goal for this Ramadan, before Ramadan, sorry, I completely lost my faith. So my goal for this Ramadan was to bring it back, and to start reading my prayers properly and to start putting effort in properly like I used to and doing all the fundamentals that I used to do that were basic for me, praying and then doing zikr after praying and then doing istighfar, then reading Surah Yasin in the mornings, and then waking up for Fajr, and then reading the Hajjud sometimes, and then, um, doing wuzu properly and not rushing it, and not rushing my prayers, and opening the Quran. Like all these basic things, not trying to finish the Quran in 30 days because that's what you should do in Ramadan. No, I can't do that because I'm flipping useless and I don't have the ability, mental capacity to do that right now. But opening the Quran would be good enough for me. For somebody who hasn't even touched the Quran, opening it and reading it is good enough. The fact that I've read it every other day is good enough than the fact that before Ramadan I didn't even read it at all. Waking up and like doing wuzu properly and not rushing it is better than the fact that I would rush it and not even do it properly before. Reading the Jar Sunnat for Asr and the Sunnats for Isha and reading the Sunnats for Zohar and not simplifying it and simplifying my prayers just to get it over and done with quickly is better than the fact that I used to simplify it and only read the fard. Like I would only read the fard and I would rush it and I would go because I couldn't be bothered and I just didn't want to do it. Sometimes there are people in this life who will always struggle with the basic things and with certain aspects of the deen that may seem easier for other people. You may listen to this right now and be like, what the frick is she talking about? This is the easiest shit I've ever heard. What are you even talking about? This doesn't correlate to me at all. I don't correlate with this. I don't sympathize with this at all because it's just not something I've ever struggled with, going back to the basics or doing whatever I did. But you might be somebody who's like, oh my god, yeah, I completely understand. That's completely fine either way. But it's knowing and acknowledging, and I think that we've forgotten this a lot because of social media, is that every single human is completely different. And every single struggle to them is completely different. And the reason that they might get into heaven may be completely different to what you have. You know what I mean? I hate when people think Islam is so black and white. Like, maybe, yes, Islam is black and white and it's either yes or no, and it's so easy. But we people are not black and white. That is quite literally why we're here. Like, it's not black and white, it's not easy for some people, it's not, something that we can grasp onto and click onto all the time. I don't know, I feel like I'm in this point in my life where I don't feel it in my heart anymore. I don't feel it in my heart or in my chest anymore, the deen or God or anything, and I'm reading Quran and I'm trying to build back my faith, like I'm building back my faith, but I just don't feel it. And sometimes there are periods of your life where you just don't feel it. You don't feel it, and that time passes by, and then something might happen, and boom, you feel it again, and you feel so connected, and that you might be connected for the next 10 years, and then something happens where you kind of fall off again, and then you come back, and then you fall off again. It's a cycle, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I just don't want to think that the fundamentals I do and the going back to the basics that I go back to, I don't want to feel so bad about it, and I don't want to feel so insecure about it because at the end of the day, we're all trying to become better Muslims. We live in a day and age where there's such a huge mental health crisis with the younger people. I believe that there has always been a huge mental health crisis. It's just been more apparent because we've been more open to talking about it. Not open to talking about it, but at least open to recognize that we have it. because I feel like everybody has depression now, and everybody has anxiety, and everybody has like I don't know. I just don't want to feel so. See, this is why I wish I had the last episode because it was perfect and I was talking perfectly, and now I'm trying to sit here and think about what I was. Bum, 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 bum. I don't want to. I'm trying to sit here and think about what was I saying last episode, like the last time I recorded, and I can't even think of it. I can't even think of it. But yeah, I think I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry if this episode wasn't what you expected, or wasn't giving advice. I'm not really somebody who gives advice. It's more me just talking about myself. Me, myself, and I. And then you can take from it what you will. But yeah. Oh, also we're downstairs because that doesn't matter. But we're downstairs because I thought the lighting was better. Is it? Do we prefer this or do we prefer me being in my room? I'm so hungry, guys. I really want my period to start. I really want those beef noodles. It's giving pho. I really want those beef noodles right now. But yeah, I'm really struggling with my faith, and I feel as if I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do, but I'm just not feeling connected to it. And sometimes there are periods of your life where you don't feel connected to it. That's completely fine. And also doing the basics in Islam. If you are somebody out there who is like me, or who always goes back to still learning about how to read, how to do prayer, or still learning how to read the Quran, and you might be 30, or you might be 25, or you might be 21, or even 18. I don't think that you should discourage yourself, and I also don't think that you should let Shaitan think that you're not good enough, because I think that God will recognize you either way. And again, God does not seek perfection from us. Islam is perfect, we are not. And we should not think that God should seek perfection from us, because we have issues and we have problems, and sometimes things are out of our control. Sometimes our mental health is out of our control that we can't control. Sometimes even our physical health is out of our control. So I don't think that we should let the shaitan convince us that we're not good enough for God, because I don't think that we have to be specifically perfect for God to listen to us or to hear us or to know us. Like, one other thing that I'm really sorry, did I have that white stuff? Guys, I promise this is eczema. I heard about someone talking about they don't like it when people have white stuff on the side of their mouths. This is eczema. This is eczema and like dry skin and like eczema scarring. So please don't be rude. I had somebody talk about. No, what was I saying? Oh shit. What was I saying? Well, there it goes. Don't know what I was saying. I don't think God seeks perfection from us, and I don't think that we have to be perfect for God to answer us, or to hear us, or to talk to us, or be near us, because He's already technically near us. It's kind of us who has to put in the effort and put in that stuff. You don't have to be perfect. In Islam, you don't. You don't have to be perfect. You literally don't. You just have to do what you can do and try to be a good person and try not to let the devil win. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say, guys. How are we feeling? I believe, as I'm recording this, this is the 11th Rosa, the 11th Ramadan, 11th day of Ramadan. I'm gonna go now because I need to pray and I need to read Quran. Also, I kind of want to make tiramisu, so I think I'm gonna get the ingredients and make tiramisu for you guys. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hope this episode makes sense. I hope what I tried to implement into words made sense. Um, but that's all I have to say for today. Next episode, I am going to be talking about how you don't need to be perfect to. That was a good segue, though. I didn't even clock I did that segue. That's a good segue. Speaking of perfection, I'm going to be talking about how you do not have to be perfect for God to answer your dua, or for God to answer you in a way that sometimes you don't even want him to answer you in that way, but he answered it because that's what he thinks is good for you in that moment. But that will be for next episode and for next week. So tata for now. Ramadan Mubarak. Um, I'm so hungry. I'm so thirsty. Like my nasal ways are blocking up and everything's blocking up. I can't breathe. I'm glad this episode is recording. Okay, bye bye.
I don't remember too much of the last year, but I knew who I was when I got here. Guess I'm still